Ready. Play.
For example, I think our first group match that is happening tomorrow will be Iga Swiatek against Madison Keys. I have a very strong idea of where that's going to go. If it doesn't go that way, that's going to completely upend how the rest of the group's going to go. So why don't we start with the Serena Williams group, given that this is the first one to get played. First match on Saturday, the 1st of November, will be Iga Swiatek against Madison Keys, and Amanda Anisimova will play Elena Rybakina in the second match, which is interesting because I thought it would be more like a 1v3 rather than a 1v4 to start. But I guess these 8 players are just so strong that I don't think it matters so much.
Keys is such a big wild card because we know she hasn't played at all since the US Open, and obviously her season is kind of cooled off with the first round loss and then a bunch of injuries, so she hasn't played the Asian swing. So that could either be really good in terms of the way that she could be super well rested, or we could just see her come out kind of very rusty and not 100% physically. I hope it's the former instead of the latter, but that makes her a very interesting wild card because I kind of don't know what to expect with Keys.
Yeah, you're right. She's kind of a little bit more of the most unknown factor in this for the reasons you've laid out. I would lean more towards her being fit but rusty is probably where I'm going to go with. And actually, if you're going to come into a WTA Finals rusty, that's not ideal. I mean, look at Iga last year, came in not having played since the US Open. Just about didn't get out of the groups, but maybe it was just a little bit unfortunate in how that came about. But I would say this is definitely not a tournament you want to turn up to without some kind of match confidence under your belt, unlike some of the others that are going to be here.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess if I were to kind of look at this, I mean, Amanda is the one to me that's, with her form in Beijing and Wuhan, and of course the way she's played all the top players this year. I am feeling kind of confident in terms of picking her to the semis, just based on what she's shown in the big events and the big matches this year. I'm tempted to pick her more than Keys, who I think I'm just not very sold on. Like maybe she plays really well against Iga in the first match, and then things are very different. But and obviously Rybakina is an interesting one because she does have, Rybakina and Iga this year, like their rivalry has shifted a little bit, where Iga has found a lot more success playing against those type of players, and I think she's cracked the Rybakina code a little bit, like beating her 4 times this year. Even though the matches haven't been straightforward, they've been pretty closely fought. But I just think that's a matchup that actually Iga is feeling a lot more confident in than she was a year or two ago.
The first match, which will open the WTA Finals tomorrow, which will be at 6 p.m. Riyadh time, which is 3 p.m. UK, which would make it. I don't think clocks have shifted. Yeah, the clocks haven't shifted in the US, so it'll be 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
So just in time for you to wake up to Vanch on the Saturday.
Yeah, it's a perfect time zone for me, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see why. Definitely for when the finals. Well, the finals are going to be a bit later in the day. I think the finals are going to be at like a couple of hours later. But yeah, so first match of the day will be Iga Swiatek against Madison Keys. So, Vanch, I don't think these two have played since their epic Australian Open semi-final.
No, actually, they did play they played in Madrid, remember? And
yes, they did. And Iga avenged it. It was
and she got bageled in the first set, but then came back and ended up winning.
Yeah, there was a reason why I didn't remember that match. Anyway. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's a 5-2 head-to-head. Obviously, the 2 Keys wins being the Australian Open semi-final this year, where she saved a match point, and then that was the back-to-back the best matches Keys has ever played in her life. Swiatek and Sabalenka, and then I think the previous Keys win was Cincinnati 2022, but the rest of the time, mostly Iga has been able to kind of draw rallies out, force a lot of errors, expose Keys's movement in terms of just Iga being able to get her moving side to side a bit easier, taking control with her heavy spin. Like it's been a good matchup for her in that sense. obviously the new type of Keys just plays with a lot more freedom and is just much more, you know, gets a lot more out of her serve and her forehand, and is just way more, there's less like there's less riding on every match that she plays. Whereas before it was like, I gotta win a major, and there was that pressure kind of in her system. But I do wonder if these conditions. I think these conditions indoors, it's going to be easier for her to play like kind of bang bang tennis. But I think with the first match coming against Iga, like that just makes it really hard for Keys, because she's not going to be able to sort of just get a normal ball to work with over and over again if you haven't played matches in a couple of months. Like if Iga was her second or third match, I think I might like her chances a bit better to either like take a set or win. But I think because she's playing Iga right off the bat, that makes me lean towards Iga more in this matchup.
I would agree with that assessment. This is almost the worst possible first match back after a long break for Madison Keys.
Right.
Rivalry-wise, like she would have I mean, I don't know if she'd have preferred to play Anisimova, but with no data, you're feeling a bit better about it. Iga, as you're right, has had the measure in the matches up to this point. Keys is rusty. Iga, okay, hasn't played since Wuhan and hasn't had an amazing Asian swing, but Iga playing a rusty Keys is probably her ideal starting point rather than playing, say, Rybakina.
Yep.
So I think, I'm leaning Iga for this one as well. But talking about the conditions, though, you mentioned obviously indoors might help Keys. I don't remember Riyadh being fast in the same sort of way as we would have seen Cincinnati or Australia, which are on the faster end of tennis courts that we get now, which is where Keys beat Swiatek.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's as fast as Australia. I think it's more medium pace, but it does take the bounce pretty well. So I think that's good. That's gonna help. It's gonna help both of them, actually. I don't think that's much of a huge edge for either, if that makes sense. Like, I definitely remember Coco benefiting quite a bit from the height and the higher loopier shots last year. So it does seem to take the bounce pretty well, and it does seem to be a medium pace type court, from what I gather.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that, and I guess that will fall well into. I don't think pace bothers Iga so much in the same way as it used to. But sort of medium pace.
We have seen her this year drop back a little bit in terms of, on the return, but also in rallies, and just kind of relying a bit more on athleticism and defense in those matchups. Like, she has figured that out a little bit better with those type of players. So that does make it tougher, I think, for Keys right off the bat.
Okay.
First match.
And then so we're saying Iga favorite for the first match of the day.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.